Here on BBC CWR. Right, get ready. It's lights out and away we go. That was a terrible impression of Crofty. Oh dear. I've been up since 4 a.m. That is my excuse. Anyway, lights out and away we go for Warwick Racing. The University of Warwick student team have unveiled their new car ahead of the Formula Student competition at Silverstone. It takes place the weekend after the British Grand Prix. That's next weekend. Preme, Singh, Gill is team principal. Firstly, I apologise for being embarrassing. Secondly, Preme, welcome along. How are you?
I'm great. Good morning, Laura. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. Thank you very much. Looking forward to the Austrian Grand Prix tomorrow afternoon rather than the sprint race today. So never mind them. Let's talk about you. How did you get involved in Warwick Racing?
Well, actually, I was not a massive motorsport fan originally, but when I went to university and I visited Warwick and I seen their car on the first week, I was like, I have to get involved with this. And ever since then, that's been my main extracurricular activity. I've been absolutely enjoying it. It's been a massive opportunity. We've opened many doors for many people through this thing. I think it's something that the education system is starting to recognize now. The hands-on experience and the practicality of such a project is important because you're working an interdisciplinary team. But yeah, generally I got involved through just applying like anybody else can. A lot of universities have a team like this, so yeah, it's really good.
And what are the kind of things that you're learning? Because obviously there's the engineering side of things, but running a team like that, there must be opportunities to learn all sorts of different areas of a business like motorsport.
Yes, so in a motorsport team, you can imagine they've got an engineering department. They have all those different disciplines in there, but you've also got the business and logistics operations side of the team where you've got people from all sorts of degrees and backgrounds. You've got to have somebody who writes the contracts and somebody has to make sure all the stuff comes on the ship and the planes. So F1 is a great example of how all these different disciplines work together. But what we're doing in our team is replicating that same structure. So half our team is only engineering, the other half is all from the business school and economics departments and all sorts of degrees, really. We've got people from media, marketing, arts, and it's actually amazing because we're used to working in maybe short-term projects with smaller groups of people, but you're working with over 60 to 100 people on basically a project that starts from the ground up from nothing over 9 to 10 months. And now we're at a point where we've seen all the progress and the hard work, the huge amount of hours, the intellectual thought which has gone into this car. So we're really proud. It's actually 2 cars we've launched, WRE2, which is our second generation electric, and also our first generation autonomous vehicle, which is special. Yeah, it's something that is unheard of, really.
Wow. Okay, so can you paint us a picture of what they look like? Most people will know maybe what an F1 car looks like, what a touring car kind of might look like in terms of racing vehicles. So where do you sit? What does your vehicle look like? Both of them, actually.
Right, so they both look quite similar. So you've got a steel chassis, a space frame, something which was probably quite common in some of the older Le Mans cars, where you've got a body over the top of that. We have body panels, and that has all our livery on. The cars have like push rod suspension on both front and rear of both cars. And we've also got an electric powertrain at the rear wheels for both vehicles. So, and what's actually quite cool, I'll tell you about both cars individually first. So on WRE2, second generation electric, we're actually integrating torque vectoring. So this means we have not got a conventional differential which is delivering the power to both rear wheels through a single drive. We've actually got 2 motors at the rear, one driving each wheel, so there's no differential, and that means all the work is done via the software. And yesterday was actually the first time we got the wheels, we got the motors spinning from the accelerator, which is quite exciting. And this is where we're quite ahead of the curve, actually, because we launched WRE1, our first generation electric, 4 years ago now, and that's way ahead of where the motorsport industry was in the direction of the automotive industry. So the skills we're building here in Coventry with all these students, they're going on to build a community around us. And you've heard lots about Jaguar, Land Rover, and all these automotives that are now moving in this direction. So I think some of the skills we're building are amazing, and the students we've got in our team, they go on to some special jobs.
I can only begin to imagine the way. I'm absolutely captivated by the way you're talking about this, Prem. You are so... It's just lovely to listen to somebody who's so engaged, so passionate, so thrilled with what you're doing. It's amazing. I literally could listen to you talk for hours. Give me some idea about this automotive, the autonomous vehicle that you've created. How on earth does that work?
So we've been running the team now for 20 years, so we've got a lot of cars you can imagine. And recently, the Formula Student class at the UK competition run by Warwick, they've introduced a new initiative, and this is the AI class vehicles. So you've got Formula Student, you've got Concept, where you can bring in new ideas, and you've also now got AI. And this is a whole separate competition almost. So we've basically got one of our old IC cars, so internal combustion vehicle. We've taken the engine and stripped all of that powertrain out. We've now put in we've used some of, because the battery technology we've got in our EV currently is modular. So we're using two of the modules from our battery design to put a new battery into this AI car. And then we're also powering it via a motor, which is supplied by Saeta, a company based in the UK. And I think all this different work, like we're talking about how that links together with the end product. You know, you've got in just the motors and the powertrain alone, you have all the software, all the mounting, the hardware, and you've got to get all those electronics and the communications going. And then all of that is all delivered to the wheels, like I said, through the differential. But you've got to have all these sensors on the car that's telling it where to go. And the complexity doesn't end there, because you've actually got to create your car so a person can still drive it. It's not solely an autonomous vehicle. It's also able to take actuation from a driver, and I think that's what's quite cool. So you've got two steering systems, two braking systems, and it's been a real challenge trying to get all these parts together. But you know what? In a year's work, it's been amazing to see the progress.
God, you guys are so clever. Oh, my word. I am feeling like I have failed in my life on a Saturday morning listening to you talking. What is going on? That is just brilliant. So what happens in 2 weeks' time at Silverstone?
So at Silverstone, we turn up on the 19th of July, and that's a Wednesday. So we set up all the campsite, the pits. We're based in the national pits, so about up to 200 different universities from all over the world will turn up. They are from everywhere. You know, we in the evenings at the campsite, we're playing football, and the other teams don't even speak the same language as you. It's amazing, and with so we're all there competing in the same events. So at the start of the week on the weekdays, so Thursday and Friday, you got your cars taken through scrutineering, which is quite intense. But you've also got all the static events. So that includes like design event, where you've got to talk about why you've designed it, how you've done it, the reasoning of the process. And you've got to talk about the costing. That's another element. You also have a business event where you talk about how this would fit in the real world. If you had a real world scenario, how would you expand this manufacturing process? So you're learning all about the application to the real world and your reasoning. So that's all done on the weekdays. Then on the weekend, the dynamic event starts. So you've got 4 dynamic events. You have the acceleration, which is simply a 0 to 75 meter acceleration sprint.
Drag race, love it. Okay.
Then you've also got a skid pad event, which is a figure of 8, and they take your average time. Then you have the endurance on Sunday, as well as a shorter sprint version of a similar track, which is done. And those 4 events account for different amount of points. The endurance being the big event on the Sunday, and essentially they add up all your points and you get a ranking. And then the award ceremony is on the last day, and it's all very intense, but it feels very special to be a part of it.
Oh, can we catch up with you once it's all done in a few weeks' time, and then see how it goes? Please, please, please. I want to talk to you again. Prem, you've been an absolute superstar. I cannot tell you. What a thrill. How fabulous to hear you and your passion for Warwick racing. Good luck. Everything crossed for you as you go, and I am sure take over the world. Look at you guys representing Coventry over there and Warwick racing. Have a great time.
Thank you very much, Laura. Have a good day.
Yeah, you take care of yourself. Thank you so much. Love it. Prem, watch out. I'm telling you, Red Bull, move over. You may be dominant right now, but these guys, they're coming for you.
It's Coventry's